Let me guess. You make some money. Not a fortune, but enough that you should be moving forward. And yet every month you still end up wondering where it all went because right after payday, everything feels fine. And then 2 weeks later, your account is somehow back in survival mode. And the frustrating part is that you're not even living like a celebrity. You're just doing what feels normal, what your friends are doing. Here's the thing. Most young men are not broke because they make no money. They're broke because they keep falling into money traps that look harmless in the moment, but quietly destroy progress over time. Today, I want to show you the 7 money traps keeping young men broke, because once you see them clearly, you realize being broke is often less about income and more about habits, identity, and psychology. The first trap is lifestyle creep, which is when every small increase in income instantly becomes a new expense instead of building wealth. You get a raise, you upgrade your phone, you make more money, you start eating out more, you land a better job, and suddenly your lifestyle expands with it. It is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom, because no matter how much more you pour in, the level never really rises. What makes this trap dangerous is that the spending usually looks moderate, not outrageous. You are not buying a yacht, you are just saying yes to slightly nicer versions of everything, and those slight upgrades stack up fast. If your income rises by $500 a month and you absorb all of it into lifestyle upgrades, that is $6,000 a year gone without building anything real. The psychology behind this trap is that extra income starts feeling like permission instead of opportunity. Once your lifestyle rises, going backward feels painful. So what was once a choice becomes a trap. The fix is simple. Every time your income rises, lock away at least half of the increase before your lifestyle touches it. The second trap is the car payment, especially when you convince yourself it is a reward for working hard. Look, cars are emotional, visible, and for a lot of young men, they feel like proof that you are making it. But the math is brutal. A lot of people are paying hundreds of dollars a month for their car, and that is before insurance, gas, and maintenance. Let's say your car costs $700 a month, your insurance is $180, your gas is $150, and maintenance averages $80. Now you are spending more than $1,100 every month. That is money leaving your life every single month for something that keeps losing value. Here's what most people don't realize. The car is not just costing you the payment, it is costing you flexibility, investing power, and peace of mind. Psychologically, this trap is about status, because a car lets you rent an identity you have not yet built. It makes you feel richer while making you poorer. The smart move is to buy transportation, not validation, and make sure your car supports your goals instead of delaying them. The third trap is living on the credit card float, and this one does not feel dangerous until it suddenly is. What I mean is that you keep spending with money you expect future you to cover when the bill comes, so everything feels fine because technically you are still making payments. But in reality, you are always one step behind. It is like running on a treadmill that quietly speeds up every month. Now you might be thinking, but I pay my card every month, and that is good. But if the only reason you can do that is because the next paycheck arrives just in time, you are not really in control. One interruption, and that float turns into real debt. The psychology here is dangerous because swiping a card disconnects the purchase from the pain of paying. It feels smooth, so you spend more casually. The fix is to build a buffer and stop using next month's paycheck to justify this month's lifestyle. When normal life can be paid from money already sitting in your account, your stress drops immediately. Trap number 4 is buy now, pay later, which is one of the smartest ways to make broke people feel strategic. The pitch is always the same. It is only a few small payments, it is interest-free, and it is easier on your cash flow. But here's what most people don't realize. Splitting a purchase into smaller pieces does not change the cost. It changes your emotional reaction to the cost. A $240 purchase feels serious, but 4 payments of $60 feels harmless. And that is exactly why people say yes too easily. Then they repeat that with clothes, tech, gifts, and random impulse purchases, and suddenly future paychecks are already partially spent. This is where it gets really interesting because buy now, pay later is mainly a psychology problem, not a math problem. It lowers the pain of purchase just enough for you to stop asking whether you should buy it at all. The rule here is simple. If you need installments to make a non-essential purchase feel affordable, it probably is not affordable yet. Delay the purchase and save for it first. The 5th trap is convenience spending, and this one is sneaky because every decision looks tiny. It is the delivery order because you are tired, the coffee because you are rushed, the Uber because it is easier, the subscription because it is only a few dollars, and the snack run because you did not prepare. None of these look like the reason you are broke, which is why people ignore them. But money does not care whether you lose it in one big mistake or 100 forgettable ones. If you spend $18 on delivery 3 times a week, That is more than $200 a month and well over $2,000 a year. Add subscriptions, coffee, and little convenience purchases, and you can easily be burning thousands without ever making one dramatic, bad decision. The psychology behind this trap is that convenience starts feeling like a need instead of a luxury. You stop asking, "Is this worth it?" and start asking, "Do I feel like doing the harder option?" That question gets expensive. The fix is to identify your biggest convenience drains and create cheaper defaults before impulse takes over. The sixth trap is waiting to invest because you think you need more money before you can start building wealth. Young men do this all the time. They say, "Once I make more, then I'll invest," which sounds logical until you realize that the habit of investing is easier to build with small amounts than to suddenly create later with big ones. If you invest $300 a month starting at 22 instead of waiting until 32, the long-term difference can be massive because compounding rewards time more than intensity. It is like planting a tree. The earlier you plant it, the less you have to worry later about forcing it to grow fast. A lot of people want the shade without planting the tree. Now you might be thinking, what difference does a few $100s make? And that mindset is exactly what keeps people stuck. Small investing changes your identity before it changes your net worth. The fix is to automate something, even if it is small, because at the beginning the habit matters more than the amount. The seventh and biggest trap is spending money to signal success before you have actually built it. This is the clothes you buy for approval, the expensive nights out, the latest tech, and the little flex purchases that exist mostly so other people can think you are doing well. And look, I understand the temptation, because social pressure is real, and every young man wants to feel respected. But here's what most people don't realize. Looking rich and becoming rich usually require opposite behaviors in the beginning. Looking rich means visible spending, while becoming rich usually means invisible discipline. The broke version of ambition wants evidence today, while the wealthy version is willing to delay applause. Many people are not actually buying products, they are buying emotional relief. But status bought through spending is fragile, because the moment the spending stops, the feeling disappears too. Real financial confidence feels different. It is quieter, less flashy, and much more durable. Before any status purchase, ask yourself whether you would still want it if nobody saw it. If the answer is no, you are probably paying for validation, not value.